from Bannock must have wanted the ball as well, you know. So he's won the ball, hasn't he?
Yeah. Do you think Cascarino's goal against Southampton?
Speed of thought.
A cracking header there.
Yeah. No, I'm not knocking Cascarino. I'm saying the partnership.
Everybody is refounding tonight's been knocking Cascarino. You've been knocking Cascarino, both of you tonight.
I have not. Excuse me. I've not knocked Cascarino at all.
He's a damn good player. You even said who's selling him off for something like 50,000.
I didn't say that. He said that. He said that. I said that.
To be sarcastic about Tony Cascarino.
He was the sarky one. I didn't say that. Thanks for your call. 02135. Nick, hello.
Hello, George. Do you mind if I speak to Tom a minute?
Yes, I do. Thanks very much, Nick. 02135940111.
That's outrageous.
It's designed to get at me, that. I'm not having it, okay? Walter, hello. What he has to do now, it's his test, it's his challenge. He has to prove he can now buy in the £500,000 market and upwards and buy the same kind of effective players. Now, if he's not doing it, or they haven't come off yet, well, he's on the spot. Tom Ross.
And also a great point, you know. I mean, I've seen Hindmarch playing on a lot of occasions. He's a good player. Now, he may not have settled at Wolves yet, but what a position. I mean, I can't understand anybody that criticises a manager that's building a squad. He's now got strength in depth. He's got Wesley pushing Hindmarch pushing Wesley. That's great. There's nothing wrong with that.
But look where the Wolves are in the table before you tell me that.
Hey, the season's only a week or so old.
Well, there's a few games gone yet, and the Albion are putting a little run together.
That surprised you? Not
surprised me at all.
It did
I'm glad to say my gentle criticism of West Bromwich Albion has had some effect. And they are now climbing the table and looking like a decent outfit.
You're not taking credit for that.
Yes, it does worry me slightly that, now this is nothing against Phil Hawker, that Phil Hawker is now in the team at West Bromwich Albion when he couldn't get into the Walsall team. That appears rather strange to me. Either Walsall very much
he couldn't get in the Walsall team, he was a footballer. That would make him stand out to start with.
Anyway,
well,
Walter...
I can understand Tom Ross has got this thing against Walsall. All right,
I've got nothing against Walsall.
You must have.
You just said before he couldn't get in the team because he was a footballer.
Exactly.
That was a slight and a sarcastic one on Walsall. How can you deny it now?
No, let me just tell you.
When comes on and says you're having a go at Walsall, you can sit there and deny it.
But you never give anybody a chance to answer that. What I'm saying is that under John Barnwell... under Tommy Coakley, they played football. Under John Barnwell, it was the last thing they wanted to do. And what I'm saying is that's why he wasn't in the team then, because he wanted to knock the ball around, and I don't think Walsall wanted to. I was hoping that under Kenny Hibbett he'd get that opportunity again, but I haven't seen Walsall under Kenny Hibbett, so I can't say.
Well, it's early yet.
Okay. Exactly. You made your point. Thanks very much, Unit, for your call. And isn't it... Tom Ross.
It's hard to fight your bosses. It's hard to fight the boss if he's made his mind up or you're constantly at loggerheads with him. But, I mean, the thing that bothers me most of all, and most Blues fans, is he's gone to Stoke. So he's not used Blues as a stepping stone to anything. A lot of people might think he's gone to a worse-off club.
Well, I mean, the fact is, Stoke City, as they pointed out, had a lot higher average gate than Birmingham City last year.
But the potential...
Have a better ground than Birmingham City.
No, but the potential...
And also...
How do you make it out a better ground?
Oh, it's a far better ground. The Victoria ground is a far better kept ground than Birmingham City.
When was the last time you were at the Victoria ground?
Look, there's no argument there.
I was there this week.
There's no argument there. Victoria ground is a better kept ground. It's a better ground. They have more supporters. What more arguments do you want from being a better club? They're better players. They have a chairman who will give the manager some money to spend.
No, well, according to Lou McCarry, he's been told by coach already...
I'm sorry, but if you want to go around wearing blinkers and thinking Birmingham City is this, that and the other, when in fact they have no manager, they have no training ground, they have no players or very few players and everything else, if you fail to see the wood for the trees, then it isn't anybody's fault but your own.
You didn't hear. You heard. You might not have listened to me, though. What I was trying to say was that Stoke... in many people's eyes, are not as big a club as Birmingham. And I was just about to say, potentially, because if Stoke got to Wembley, they wouldn't take 44,000. That's the difference.
Well, how many did they get when they won the League Cup with Dobing and Easton? Well, if you check that out, you might say they got a few fans went down there for that day. Stoke are a bigger club than Birmingham City. They've proved it by taking Birmingham City's manager away from them.
No, there's a difference. Did they take him away? Because, again, coach made it very clear at the press conference, I wouldn't have been interested in Lou McCarry had he not been dissatisfied with Birmingham City. So perhaps they didn't take him, perhaps he was driven away. There's another side to the argument if you care to look at it.
I can't see it. Norman...
Yeah, can I make a point? I think one thing you have to get clear, and everybody has to get clear, this is nothing to do with money. It's nothing to do with money for players. It's nothing to do with money for contracts. We're talking, how I see it, and talking to Lou, it looks to me like man management. When I told Lou Macari that 6,000 people had turned up in the rain to sign a petition to keep him, he said, was Sam there? Now, reading between the lines, you know, I wonder if Sam has actually said to Lou, face to face, I want you to stay and manage me club, I want you to take us to the top. I wonder if it's ever been like that. Do you know what I mean? Man management, everybody's different. Perhaps that's all Macari needed, was somebody to tell him he's wanted at that level.
Well, you know, I think you're living in fairyland. If all he wants is a mother, then, you know...
oh, come on, we're talking human beings here.
I'll find him 100,000 if
well, maybe you are insensitive. Not everybody is.
If he wants a mother, you know, I mean, we'll get loads in. We'll bus him in, and he can use...
So the theory of man management's a waste of time, is that what you're saying?
And he can lean his head on their bosom.
Man management doesn't worry? Man management means nothing?
That's fairyland.
Does it? Well, answer me question. Does it mean nothing?
It's fairyland what you're talking about. Mick. Brian.
Yeah.
Yes, Brian.
Who's that?
George.
George, can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
And I've really wanted to know this for quite a while. Why are you such a prat?
Oh, Brian, it's the summer, the sun is shining, we don't need people like you. No one needs people like you, okay? Go away, close the curtains, lie down, and let it all drift away, okay? I've no idea whatsoever, but then again, I've little idea what's going on at Birmingham City at all, so I can't help you out. I think the whole thing is pathetic. I think they are prime candidates for relegation next season, and I stand by that until I am proved otherwise, Tom.
Well, I just don't know. I don't know how you can say without a ball being... I've said it before, and I'm sick of saying it. You know, I don't know how you can say they're going to be relegation candidates. I agree. I don't know why the chairman has to go over and sort out the pre-season tour. Bill could have done that, I'm sure, quite successfully. But he's gone. That's the end of it. He's the chairman. He runs the club. He's gone with Bill. And they've got a scouting network which they've set up recently, which is another reason he's gone over there, but also meeting up with all their scouts in Ireland. In Southern Ireland. So I think it's the whole thing's going to be done this weekend.
So the chairman is the manager now, is he?
He's the chairman.
But he's acting as the manager.
No, Bill Caldwell's the caretaker manager.
You just said he's going to set up the scouting network.
No, I never said that. I said it... No, you heard, George, but you didn't quite grasp it. What I said was, they've set up scouts in Ireland, he's gone over there, and they're getting them all together this weekend.
The chairman is?
With Bill and the chairman.
Why?
Well, I should think the same reason that any other chairman goes anywhere where that happens.
The chairman don't organise the scouting network.
We had a chairman down the road, not 2 miles from here, bought players when one manager was on holiday.
Okay, thanks, George. Thanks very much.
Can I bring up a point about Villa that you mentioned earlier about David Platt?
Yeah.
You said that he's got another year to go, and that... you know...
No, he's got 2 years to go.
2 years to go.
Say that. You heard,
but I didn't listen.
You didn't grasp.
Well, you definitely mentioned a year for some reason, that his price would go down. Yeah, you did, didn't you?
Yeah, his price will go down next year.
Well, why isn't the chairman there doing what most chairmen at big clubs would do and negotiating now for an extension to that contract to keep him at Villa Park? He's got Ron Atkinson. Here, he can say, look, we've got Ron Atkinson. We're going to be as big as any club in the country.
Yeah. I'll answer the question. I get the drift. Because Platty wants to go at the end of his contract.
So that didn't come across, really, that he's definitely leaving Villa.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
OK. Ash. Finish higher in the 3rd division. I'll tell you what, if Aston Villa finish 18th in Division 1 and Birmingham City finish 2nd in Division 3, Villa have still had a better season.
Oh, yeah. I'm not saying that, but it's still...
It's all relative, George, isn't it? You can't say that.
I've just said it.
I know, but it wasn't... I mean, it wasn't really fair. It's relative. If Blues finish 2nd or 1st in Division 3, it's a good season for Birmingham, relatively speaking, because they're in the 3rd division. If Villa finish 18th in the 1st division, that's not a good season, relatively speaking, because they're in the 1st division.
Oh, you're losing me now. All I'm saying to you, Ash, is that Birmingham City won't finish 2nd in Division 3 anyway. So you're telling me... I mean, I've just been Chris...
Everything you talk about for the last 3 weeks, you've been negative about it.
Well, I'm only telling you what I think. And I don't think they'll do well next season, Ash, because they got no players, they got no manager, they got a chairman who's on scouting trips, they got a manager like Bill Colwell, who's an uncle to everybody, but hardly can crack the whip with anyone at all. They've got no fans left because they're all cheesed off. Their stadium's in the middle of the heartlands and being gradually whittled away by housing. They've got no training ground. What more do you want?
Here we go again. You just got to be calm. calm down a bit and just see how Blues end up.
I mean, the likes of Tom Ross, they make me sick. They really do. I wish he'd tell him to shut up sometimes because he talks such a load of piffle. I mean, when he talks about all this, wait till the ball gets kicked off. When the season gets kicked off, we're going to get kicked down.
It's too late then, isn't it?
It's too late, too right. It's going nowhere fast. It's going, I don't know, Kumar, I think he does everything wrong. Interfering, meddling, property developing, flogging the ground off. Well, I can see we're going to end up with an 80,000 all-seater stadium at the NEC with 10,000 people stuck in the corner.
Hang about. That's exactly what he doesn't want. That's what he's... Hang on, let me finish. You've just had a go at me. As rude as you were, I'll still speak to you. Right? You were at the town hall, were you? Were you at the town hall with the action group? Right, well, you heard what was going on there, and what Samesh is saying is that it's the council that are trying to force them out to the NEC, and it's him that's trying to stay there.
Oh, come off it. Well, where's the Almond money then? How come he puts in the programme one day? Now listen, he put in the programme, he said, I don't believe in the government ID card scheme because this, because that.
Absolutely
he gives 10 reasons. Next thing you know, we've got one. The only club in the Midlands we've got one. He talks with a forked tongue, he tells you one thing and then does another. Tells us he wants a good manager and bring the ID card scheme is to suppress the fans, to keep them away. The one thing he doesn't want is a lot of fans turning up because he knows he's got to spend money. And he hasn't got any. He's skint. And you keep supporting him by talking to him very, very nicely.
You say I'm talking piffle. That's the biggest load of rubbish I've ever heard, is that he doesn't want people in the ground. How can you say...
Stand for the three, you're the doormat at St Andrews, Tom.
How can you say he doesn't want people in the ground? How can you say that when he's desperate for money? How can you say that? You're just anti-Kumar. Well, that's your decision. You go whichever road you want to.
Look,
but you still went to
go up. My ambition's like up, not down. My ambition is not signing a few young kids who struggled and finished 12th. My ambition, let's get out there and compete. All he's going to do is give a new manager 50,000 here and 20,000 there and 50 that you can have a free transfer here and there, and you'd be happy at that, but I'm not.
Well, I'm not going to argue any more with you. That's your decision. Fine, you were right to your opinion.
You'll do for me, Peter. You'll do for me. There's a drink on this evening for you. Seed all green dogs. 0213. And another thing, if I can just make this absolutely clear, right? The membership scheme got rid of a lot of loonies that Birmingham City don't need and don't want. And fair play to Samesh Kumar that my family and other people's families can actually go down to a safe ground now. And sponsors are coming back because of the membership scheme. Right? Not only. And Kumar did open a special part of the terraces so that the membership scheme was devoid in certain parts of the ground and you could actually get into the terraces. But he was trying to make it a safer ground. And if that's piffle and standing by the chairman, well, so be it. I'm not joining the lynch mob that's beginning to form around the city. You're piffling on the doormat again. Indy. Yes, Andy.
I'd just like to say Tom's been brainwashed by Samesh Kumar.
I think you're right, actually.
And I think he's after the market store outside the ground.
A 10% or something, yes. Thanks very much, Andy. Yes, Tommy.
Have a word with Tom.
Yeah.
No, I'm a Blues fan.
Yeah, go on.
I'd just like to say that with George, I can't work out how they can be all over us 3 weeks ago at Wembley, and now, half the people, they don't want to know.
Exactly.
I mean, these people, they didn't go to the town hall, but these are saying boycott the games and that. I mean, that is a waste of time. We should now be getting behind them. Forget Macari, he's gone, that's the past. Now, we should be out there supporting them now, getting behind them.
Well, it's no point in talking about Macari, that's for sure. He's history, and I tell you what, Samesh Kumar underestimated and misread the Macari situation and lost a good manager because of it. There's no I've told Mr. Kumar that, and I'll come out and say that's a fact of life. And we've said it before on this programme. There's not a problem there. If he does things wrong, I'll tell him. He cocked up with the Macari situation. But he does have, I believe, the club's interest at heart. And his door is always open for people to go and talk to him about it. Perhaps that's what some people should do. And you're right, 40,000 people at Wembley were cheering him round Wembley Way. 2 weeks later, they're trying to lynch him.
Yeah, well, that's what George is doing.
I'm telling you, listen, I am not...
A doormat.
I'm not a doormat talking piffle. I'm not dyed in the wall. I don't... Anyway.
You know, I really do get sick to death of listening to Tom Ross.
Oh, here we go again.
He can moan as much as he
let the man talk.
He's on about...
You carry on, Dennis.
He's on about the membership scheme, getting rid of a load of loonies.
You look over the football scene all over the country, and the hooligan problems, it's dying away. That membership scheme.
I tell you what, isn't it easy?
Hang on. No, let the man finish. Dennis, carry on.
I have to pay my money to get into St Andrews. Tom don't. That's why he's always hobnobbing with them. And
Rubbish.
George, let me ask you this.
Hang on. I'll come back first before you start
I'll
that.
tell you something.
Let me come back to this gentleman.
No, let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. I just thought it. Let me tell you something. If you went to St Andrews with your little kit bag and you went to the St Andrews there, and sitting in the chairman's chair was the big bad wolf, you'd sit there, you're saying, "Oh, what big ears you've got, Mr. Chairman." All the better to hear what the fans are saying with Tom. "Oh, what a big nose you've got, Mr. Chairman." All the better to sniff out the bad meat pies with Tom. "Oh, what big bad teeth you've got."
What are you rambling
it's
about?
It's like Red Riding Hood you've got up there.
What are you on?
Whoever's sitting in the chairman's chair, you will go up there like little Red Riding Hood.
You and Dennis have had a nice little go. Perhaps I can come back just for a word. I tell you what, Dennis, it isn't that long ago since a young lad was killed there. You forget that, because it wasn't your son. It's too easy for you to throw that out the window. Too easy to start whimpering and moaning about you have to pay your money. I don't pay at the moment because I go there to work. But hang on, no, you listen to me for a change. Just you listen to me. I listen to you rambling on for 5 minutes. You listen to me, right? There are decent people want to go to the games, and I was at, even a shorter time ago as 2 years at Nuneaton away, and I actually stood amongst the loonies who were threatening to go through the city at Nuneaton and tear them apart. I see them down St Andrews, and they tell to me what they're going to do. 2 or 3 threatened me, loonies in the D Club, not long ago, because they've been in court and represented the court, Birmingham City in all sorts of courts that are still around the loonies, and decent fans want them away from every football ground. If you can't see that, you've got the problem, not me.
Speak to Tom, please.
Go on.
Tom. Hello?
Yes, mate.
Keep right on to the end of the road, mates. I mean, if everyone else wants to bellyache, why don't they get down the villa, eh? Well, how many,
he doesn't need your help,
listen,
John. Thanks very much.
Fan
02135940011.
George, come to lift the doom and gloom on the show from tonight.
Thank you very much.
All right.
Yes.
Mind you, seriously, I do feel sorry for the Blues fans. You know, it's a bad situation for them at the moment.
Well, I feel sorry for Blues fans who can't see the wood for the trees and think everything's rosy in the garden. I feel very sorry for them because I think they're demented. I think they're prime candidates for Ward 52.
Yeah.
Or a quick satellite flight back to the planet Coconut.
I know.
What you're trying to say...
George.
Excuse me, Robert. What you're trying to say is that anybody that doesn't agree with your way of thinking and the thinking of the mentality of the Lynch Brigade has not got a voice and is absolutely wrong. You know, that's not true. And I've never said that, and will refuse to say that everything Kumar does is well. All I'm saying is, I'm trying to look at things balanced. He's made a lot of mistakes, and Macari was the biggest, but it isn't all bad. That's what I'm trying to say.
Excuse me, we've got an Albion fan on. On you go. All right, thanks for your call. Paul.
Excuse me. You think West Bromwich are going to do absolutely wonderful, and they want the board out. You think Birmingham are going to do terrible, they want the board out. Is that fashion?
What do you mean? Fashion, what are you talking about?
What I'm saying is, your opinion on 2 teams there differ totally. Birmingham City, heading for the Vauxhall Conference, you said. West Bromwich Albion will lead the field in the 3rd Division. And yet both sets of supporters are on, they want the board out.
Well, what's your question?
Well, I'm just trying to make the point that it doesn't really matter about the team when they get something into their heads that they want a board out, or they want a change of board.
I think it's a totally different situation, the Albion and Birmingham City. I don't see any relationship at all. I think the Albion board are well-meaning people who are Albion supporters through and through, who are prepared to spend money, if they've got it, on West Bromwich Albion, and are supporters of West Bromwich Albion and are local people. I've no criticism of them whatsoever in that sense. I just think they're behind the times. I don't think they're living in the real world sometimes. I don't think they know what's going on outside of the Hawthorns. Now, if that's a criticism, you know, I'm sorry, that's what I believe. I just think it's a totally different situation at St Andrews at the moment. Totally different. Paul, hello, Paul.
This is 7 Foot John. Tom goes on, he contradicts himself. First he says about Kumar and about the membership for the card, it's a good thing. Then he contradicts himself, saying he don't agree with Kumar and putting it up £2.
I never said that.
Did you see
No, I didn't. No, what I said was it was wrong to hold the fans to ransom to sell them a membership card just to get a ticket for Wembley. I said that was wrong.
The idea of putting up £2 from £1. What's the idea of charging the membership £2 this season?
I have absolutely no idea. If it was up to me, the membership card scheme would be free anyway.
Yeah, but why isn't it free then, Tom?
Well, excuse me, I'm not a member of the board. I don't know. And I wasn't agreeing with him there about that. I happen to have my own views, not Samish Kumar's, not Lou Macari's. I've got my views about the membership scheme, and I don't think it's a bad idea.
Yeah, but you're on about trouble in the ground. I see no trouble. There's no trouble at Wembley, was there?
There's no trouble at Wembley. You've been to... Hey, come on. Now, you've been around a bit. I know you. We spoke on many occasions. You know that there are quite a few, and you've been at away games when it's happened. You've been there. Did you go to non-eaten in the friendly? Were you there when at the home games that we've had, West Ham?
No, hang on. You're talking rubbish. Someone about over away games who supported.
Yeah, he's just asked you.
Trouble at a rock concert.
You're right, Kevin. There was no trouble at Wembley. You're quite right. Good point. Well done.
Excuse me.
Let's move on.
Hang on.
3594011 Martin. Hello, Martin.
Hello, is that you, Tom?
It's George, Martin.
Is that George?
Yes.
I was just going to say, I'm a Blues fan through and through. I followed them everywhere, all over the country, everywhere,
yes.
you know.
Yes.
And it really got to me, like, when we went to Wembley, I mean, we won the cup and all that. I know it's sad for McCarthy to go in, but what I want to say is, to all the true Blues out there, is let's get back there and sort them out. Let's win some at this season.
Well, we all do, Martin, but it's no use living in cloud cuckoo land. You've got no manager, you've got no staff, you've got no players, you've got no training ground, you've got no money to spend. The ground is now being swallowed up by development. There's little of it left. I'm sorry, but there's little of it left. And what is left, I firmly believe, is dribbling down the drain. Is that clear enough?
Well, you keep saying no players. One more, apart from Vince Overson, it looks like I would think that they're all going to sign. That's the situation.
And Lou Macari told you those players, and the players agreed on the forum we did, those players are not good enough, with respect to them.
Absolutely. Absolutely. He said he said to me they needed 2 or 3 new players.
So where's your basis for saying there's any optimism for next season?
Well, because, again, the chairman has said publicly, right, and on BRMB and in the papers, he said that there is money for new players. That is what he said. Now, I can call him a liar, but won't. I believe him until he doesn't put the money up. Now, that's the situation. Now, you keep saying there's no players. I mean, that is not right. That is a wrong thing to say. There is no players. There might not have been when they were not signing, but they're gradually signing their contracts. They're negotiating.
Frank.
Work for Kumar for $5,000 a week.
Exactly.
All right, don't knock everybody,
and
Tom,
also,
just because
No,
you're
hang on.
towing the party line.
No, that's unfair.
Now, Peter Shilton made some comments which were nasty about Birmingham City. Why should he say those sort of things?
All I'm telling you, right, again, is the amount of money he wanted was too much for Birmingham City.
Well, does that make him a bad person?
No, but what I'm saying is, he didn't come because Birmingham City couldn't afford him. The callers just said that he wouldn't want to work for Kumar. Now, I think that again, is a different argument.
Well, you know, if you pay peanuts, you'll get monkeys.
Was Lou Macari a monkey?
I don't know how much he was paid.
Don't make any difference, does it?
He went.
He was here and took them to Wembley.
He went.
He didn't go over money, he said.
Jason.
Oh.
Can I ask you a question? I can't believe what you've just said to Pete. You've said, I agree with you, I can see the Albans struggling for a season or 2, but I don't think they will, they'll be top of the table.
Yeah.
I don't understand that. How can you say 2 completely contradicting statements?
I don't talk or think piffle or act like a doormat.
Well, that's as near to piffle as you'll ever get.
No, it isn't. I can respect his argument.
No, you said you could see them being in the 3rd division for a season or 2 and struggling.
I can see why he's making that argument. I can respect the guy's argument. I don't agree with it particularly. I'd rather take the other side of the coin. There's nothing wrong with that.
You'd rather be positive about West Bromwich Albion.
I think there's room to be positive about the Albion. Yes.
But why?
Because they've got a manager, they've got a ground, they've got players.
Come on, have they got a training ground?
Yes.
Where?
The back of the Halfords Lane. The back of the supporters club.
Which I believe they borrow, don't they?
No, it's their own training ground.
Didn't they sell their training ground?
They sold Spring Road, but they've got the one behind the supporters club. No problem. 021-359-4011. Mark.
Hello. George.
Yes, Mark.
George, I've come on to praise you tonight. It's not looking a very good Friday for me, and I tell you, you've given me the best laugh I've had in weeks.
Well, you're not meant to laugh. It's a very sad situation.
I know it's very serious, George, but honestly, absolutely superb. I was the one who came on last week and asked you to get John Silk on the programme.
Oh, yeah.
But I can understand you telling me, how can Tom be optimistic with the Blues at the moment? They're just, you know...
There's nothing there.
All I'm saying is keep an open mind, because I don't know whether to be optimistic or not until a new manager comes in and I see who he buys. All I'm saying is, I'm not going to be optimistic, but I'm not going to be negative either until I see what's happening. For goodness sake.
Tell me, like George says, what is there to be optimistic about? Tom's
nothing there at all. What you want is, you want me to sit there with the knitting needles like the rest of you, waiting for the execution.
You've got to take a stand, Tom. You've got to do it, mate. I was one of the first ones at the Albion, like I said last week, to shout, get out, get rid of Tor. But you've got to take a stand. You've got to stand up and say what you think. Don't stand for it, because if you do, you'll just get trampled on. That's the way football is.
He goes up there with his Red Riding Hood on, saying, "Oh, what big ears you got, Mr. Chairman." He does it all the time, every week. Thanks for your call, Dave. Hello, Dave.
Hi, George.
Yes.
I've been a season ticket holder for the last 4 years now.
Yeah. Quick.
And you're talking truth.
Thanks very much, Dave.
Tom's wrong.
Derek. Hello, Derek.
Well, thank goodness for Tom Ross, because anyone with an opinion, and you either root to them or you cut them off.
Yeah,
and
thanks very much, Derek. Cheerio. Thanks, Tom. See you tomorrow at 2 o'clock. A sort of roundabout situation. Where do you see the teams finishing, Tom?
As you see it. That's as you see it.
Yes.
Right. Villa, I'm not as confident as you. Ron Atkinson is certainly a Wembley man, and I fancy Villa for Wembley this season. But I don't think they're going to do it in the league. I really don't think they're going to prove a real threat to Liverpool and Arsenal, who will be there or thereabouts. But a cup run, and Villa just above mid-table. 8th, 9th, 10th, that era. West Bromwich Albion, I think they'll be challenging from the start. I really believe I think they're going to go at the third division the right way. They're going to not care how it looks, just get out. They'll be challenging from the start. Birmingham City, there are too many imponderables at the moment, and it depends who they sign to bolster the defence and who they sign in midfield before you can really give a fair estimate. If it stays as it was, if they didn't buy anybody, mid-table, if they add it with a couple of players, then I can see Birmingham being there as well.
So basically you're sitting on the fence.
No, not at all.
Let's go to Brian.
I think there are too many dismal jimmies about Birmingham City and the team they've got. Last season, if you remember, under Dave Mackay, they had, 8 consecutive draws against good teams. And on those occasions, you were at games yourself when you saw they could have and should have won.
It.
All right, forget it. As far as I was concerned, and anybody else with a brain that was there, saw that they outplayed teams like Southend and Grimsby, but couldn't put the ball in the net. If they can sort that out, who's to say it won't change?
Well, you're absolutely right. If the game of football wasn't about putting the ball in the net, we'd have a great team down St Andrews.
hang on.
We
Just
have
2 minutes
one
ago.
Little loophole that you have to score goals to win games. Oh, dearie me.
But
blooming heck. Oh, dear. The one thing
My mum always said sarcasm was the lowest form of wit.
Do you honestly think there's anybody... And with respect to the two guys individually as personalities, I find them excellent men. But does anybody really believe that Bill Caldwell and Ian Atkins can take Birmingham City anywhere?
You, like all the others, have jumped the gun. Who the heck has said that Bill Caldwell's going to be manager? Nobody.
Well,
all you've been told is that Terry Cooper is the man wanted, but that doesn't suit you. It doesn't suit the other, because you don't want to believe that. You want to have something to knock about. So you say Caldwell's not the answer. He's not manager. He's not said he's manager. Samesh Kumar said he's not manager. In fact, Samesh Kumar said he won't be manager. And yet, you still go on about him. What the heck's wrong with you? Get off Birmingham City's case for 2 minutes and start looking elsewhere.
Well said, if I may say so. Well said.
Thank you.
Rubbish, but well said. Nigel, from the Planet Coconut, and I'm afraid, and the sooner we stick them on a satellite and boost them back up to Planet Coconut, the better.
Can I make a little point?
Yes.
It's amazing.
I think we could do with getting rid of some of the members of the board. Regarding the Blues, I think they'll do a bit better this year.
I hope they do, because although I'm an Albion fan, I would ideally like to see the Blues, the Albion, the Wolves back in with the Villa in the First Division.
Oh, we were there, weren't we?
I'm Albion through and through, and I've worked with people who are Wolves fans, and I took a lot of stick over the last 2 seasons, but I still want to see them all back doing well because it's better for the area.
Quite right.
And
Isn't it amazing that
playing on the park?
Yeah.
In Wolves,
just a minute.
I'm trying to. You said I could have a word.
United strips. Where's the Albion and the Villa and the Wolves strips?
Yeah. What do you mean? All playing on the parks? Yeah, that's been a bugbear for a long time.
That's where the future is. And the Albion are the worst for it because their contract is scoreline.
Yeah, I'll tell you something about the Blues now. When they went to Wembley, everybody was buying and wearing Blues tops, weren't they?
Yeah.
And you walk around the streets, you walk around Villa areas and Albion areas of the Midlands, and the Blues fans come out the closet wearing their Blues tops and proud to do so as well. And it was a great thing to see. And little kids were proud to wear blue and white.
And still are.
And no, that's the point. And
I saw them at Warwickshire today.
And go into their classrooms and mix with their colleagues and their fellow classmates and not be embarrassed and shy and get sent up. Now, and that's what's really bitten hard to me. Now they've gone back in the closet again, by and large, and that's really upset me because.